welcome to the Fun Stamper's Journey video studio. I am Kim Kesti, Creative Director here at Fun Stamper's Journey, and again, welcome to the make and take portion of our Follow Your Heart launch. So super excited. I think a lot of you have gotten your project kit in the mail already. Hopefully everybody has. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Here we go. Fun little box full of goodies. Now you've either received the basic kit or you've received the plus kit. And either one is going to have the same exact card directions, so just follow along no matter what kit you have. I am so happy to have you here, and I'm excited to get started. So let's take a look at what's in this kit. Now I have in front of me the plus kit, which means I have the additional 2 dies that came with the plus kit. But as I go through the card projects, I'm just going to pretend like I don't have the dies. So anytime that you would typically use a die when you're doing your matching stamp and die combos, I'm going to be fussy cutting. So just for those of you who didn't get the dies in your kit, you can follow along. But if you do have the dies, remember you can always take the shortcut and use the dies as you go along. But let's take a look at this delightful kit. Isn't it so much fun? So first of all, you have a Follow Your Heart mini catalog. Absolutely love this guy. It has all of our launch, which again launches December 1st. You may be getting this make and take video prior to December 1st, in which case you are getting one of the first sneak peeks, so I love that. So there's your catalog. Enjoy that. Use that as you will, and we'll set that aside for right now. Maybe we'll take a look at it later. You never know. Okay, so also this is the one that you're going to need right now, though. This is the Follow Your Heart instruction booklet, and this again has pictures of all of the card projects that I'm going to be working with you on today. And if you ever get lost or get kind of, a little bit behind or whatever, remember, you have these really excellent directions and pictures right here in your instruction booklet. So you don't just have to rely on little old me, but you know what? I'm sure glad you're here, and I think we're going to have so much fun crafting together. So again, keep your booklet handy. Otherwise, you can always pause this video, right? This video you can have for as long as you want. You can pause me, make me freeze, make sure I have one of those like funny faces when you freeze me. But anytime you get behind, just pause the video and catch up on your project, and then you're right back at it. So that's the joy of having this make and take video separate from our actual live broadcast. By the way, did you guys save the date for our live broadcast? Again, if you're watching this make and take video ahead of time, our live broadcast is on December 1st. So be sure to save the date because we have so many fun things going on during that broadcast, and we might even have some special things just for those people who are attending live. So be sure to save the date for December 1st. Okay, so what else have we got in this box? We've got 2 amazing stamp sets, and I'm going to be working right along with you. They're both brand new, not even opened yet. We've got the really cute pattern paper pack. This is a 6x6 pad. We're actually not going to be cutting into this for our projects today, so this is all yours to keep. So you get to have this pack, just set it aside. I hope to see so many of your cute projects when you make things with this paper pack. Be sure to post them and be sure to tag us. You can tag us with hashtag #FunStampersJourney. That's so much fun. So we always like seeing your projects when you post them on social media. So again, paper pack is just yours to keep. You can set that aside. Maybe we'll be looking at that later too. And like I said, since this is the plus pack, you have the 2 additional die sets in here. And again, I won't be using those today, but they are obviously yours to keep, and I'm sure you'll get tons of use out of them. The first die set matches one of the stamps, sending my love. So cute. And then you've got the amazing Gable Favor Heart Box die. Oh my gosh. Oh, I added the word heart. I'm all into hearts. It's actually the Gable Favor Box. It doesn't actually say heart in the title, but I think it's cute to have heart in the title. We'll be adding hearts to it, that's for sure. That'll be super fun. And then, of course, you've got your project kits. If you have the basic kit, you'll have 3 kits. And if you bought the bonus plus kit, you've got the 4th project too, which of course I'm going to be working on today. So again, you can set this cute little box aside. I'll put it right over here. Do you guys love these kits? Aren't these amazing? We have our team of Karina and her helpers that kit these, and they do such a wonderful job. I just love seeing the kits all neat and tidy. So again, I'll kind of put those aside. So do you guys want to pick which one you get to do first? I've actually already picked. We're going to do this pink one first. So this particular card is called Best Person Ever. And it may or may not be. I actually didn't even check if it was the first one in the book. Let's see. Oh, it is the first one in the book. Okay, so it's the very first page. If you want to open to that page, you can and follow along. Otherwise, you can just keep on watching and playing with me. But it is the kit with the largest of the watermelon card bases here. So this is our cute watermelon fusion color. And you want to get all your little goodies out. Save your bag, you can recycle that, right? So here's all these little cuties. So this particular card is going to use bits and pieces from both of these sets. It mainly is the All the Feels set. And excuse my crinkling if it probably shows up in the video. By the way, we should say hi to Roy over there because Roy is back here manning the video studio.
Hello.
Yay, Roy!
Actually, let me try that again. Hello. I have a microphone.
Oh, you have a mic now.
I do.
Nice. I love that. A lot of times we have Roy back there and he never has a mic, so he has to just kind of do the pantomime thing.
I have all the audios.
No, he has control. I love it. So yes, Roy will be helping us all day as we walk through these make and takes. But one thing that I think is really cool for those of you who are new to Fun Stampers Journey, you may not even realize this, but our stamps all come on these really cool laminated sheets. So this has obviously all of the stamp design on it, but these are the sheets that you want to store your stamps with. So even though they come on this clear plastic sheet, you're going to want to go ahead and peel them off and then stick them right to that laminated sheet. Love that. So then all my stamp is just perfectly captured in the correct place. Now we also do sell sleeves for this, and maybe I'll run later and try to get one of those sleeves that you can actually keep this in and then none of your stamps fall out. But they stick pretty good to this, so I haven't really experienced too much that they fall off. But again, this clear sheet that the stamps come on, save that because we're going to use that for this project right now. So I don't want to lose that, even though it's clear and it's easy to lose. So like I said, mainly we'll be using this stamp set, but we do want this one little, let's see, what am I going to use? I'm going to use this little tiny U word. I know, can you believe it's so tiny? This Sending My Love stamp set has 20 stamps. Can you believe that? So stinking cool. So I'm going to open it just so I can get that little word that says U. Plus we'll need this later, obviously. Go ahead and again, peel it off, keep your clear sheet. I also love when the stamps come with the extra rubber around them because it helps me from losing these little tiny stamps. Sometimes you kind of have to peel them out. But then I know exactly where that spot is where I can put that little U right back. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on a clear block because knowing my luck, I would lose it. So there's the little tiny U, and I'm just going to keep that there for the card. The rest of the stamp set you can just set aside. Okay, isn't this fun? All these little bits and pieces. I love them. Kind of sort them out here a little bit. Like I said, this is the real deal. I'm working right along with you guys. So one of the main stamps that we're going to need for this guy is the Best Person Ever. Grab the right stamp here. So this we need for our sentiment. Again, I'm going to go ahead and put that on a block. Oops. It's helpful if it goes cling side down. When I do put my stamps on my block, I like to go ahead and put the clear side. That's where I want to put my stamps, not the grid side. Because if I put the grid side on, I'll get a little bit more chance of getting ink in it, which of course it will clean out, but I always try to mount my stamps on the side without the grid. So that's just one extra little tip for you. So there's my Best Person Ever. And then I do want the cute little heart from this set too. This is kind of a little hand-drawn little heart. So get another tiny block. I don't know if you guys have watched any of my other videos, but I absolutely love this little D block. This is like the cutest little clear block ever. Sometimes I love stamp sets that have tiny stamps just because I can use this little block. Okay, that's kind of silly, but it's true. What can I say? I love tiny things. Okay, so to start with, I'm just going to go ahead and take our Watermelon Fusion card base. And if you have our scoring board, you can certainly use that. Otherwise, you can use our crease tool and just give it a nice little crease. We won't need the card base right away, so you can kind of set it aside there. We'll come back to that in a minute. Then the next piece you want to come on, I'm going to kind of work from the bottom up on this card. You have a long, narrow strip of whipped cream cardstock. It's probably about 1.5 inches wide and then just as long as your card base. So let's grab that one next. And I forgot about my other stamp. We need this cute little circle stamp set right here. So this little guy is going to create our background pattern. I don't know if you looked at the picture that's in the booklet, but it almost looks like it's pattern paper or something. Just by looking at the card, but it's not. We're going to make our own pattern paper, and that's even more fun, right? Yes, it is. So I'm going to take this little dotty guy and just again mount him on a clear block. And then we're just taking good old black licorice ink. And we're just creating our own little pattern all around this little strip right here. So just ink up your little cute little dots. And you want to go ahead and start by stamping off the paper. So see how I stamp some of the dots off? Then you get that pattern that extends right off your paper. And you can also turn your little block. Every time you stamp, I kind of rotate it. You know, maybe just one turn, 45 degrees, or you can do it twice. Whatever. So this is kind of making like a little Dalmatian pattern here, which, by the way, I love the Dalmatian print. It's pretty trendy right now. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you can have little gaps. I might add a few more dots right here. But it doesn't have to be so even of a pattern because, you know, have you ever seen a Dalmatian that has even spots? No, you haven't. So just go ahead and continue stamping all the way down. Just making your cute little pattern. This stamp set is so much fun. It's got so many cute little icons on it. It's got the little arrows and it's got the little hearts and so many fun things. You can make so many different patterns. I think you'll absolutely love it. Okay, so I've got that whole strip pretty much covered. And again, my pattern's not perfectly even, but I think it just adds to the whimsical feel of it if it's not. It's all the better if it's kind of crazy and kind of wonky. So super cute. I'm going to kind of set that aside a little bit. Now this circle that you have right here has already got a pierced element in it. And those of you who are familiar with our dies know that this particular die set is called Circle Around. And it is listed in your booklet too if you're interested in picking that up. But our wonderful team has already die cut it for you and already has that cute little stitched element. So this is the piece that you're going to want to stamp your sentiment on. And that again is the sentiment best person ever. That's another thing that I really love about this stamp set. It doesn't have well, it is good for Valentine's, of course, because that's what we're kind of talking about, Valentine project. But it's also got so many great sentiments that are good for all year long. So it doesn't just have to be, you know, only mushy gushy Valentines, right? You can use it for friends. You can use it for really any time throughout the year. So that's why I really love this set. Best person ever. I mean, when could you could use that for anybody, right? Love it. So ink it up real good. I'm going to stamp it slightly higher than center. Instead of going dead center, I'm going to go up just a little bit and to the right. Because we're going to do some fun layering. So you want your sentiment to be just a little bit higher in the circle, right? Does that make sense? Yay! I wish I could hear you guys out there. It'd be so much more fun if you could be like chatting back and forth with me. But as we go through the make and takes, I absolutely think it would be fun if you guys left comments, or certainly when you tune in on December 1st. Leave some comments and tell me what you thought of the make and take video. If you loved it, what was your favorite part? What was some technique you learned? So definitely comment because I always check back and I love hearing from you and hearing how things went. So super fun. All right, so now we're going to do kind of a messy part. We're going to leave these two panels set aside for right now. We're going to take your really fun, large, pierced panel. Now again, this is in your kit. It's a rectangle and it's already got the piercing element all the way around. Doesn't really matter which side you use. I guess one side has kind of more of a die cut, but it really doesn't matter. And remember I said we were going to grab one of the clear view sheets. So this is what came off of our stamp set. So you're going to want to grab that. I'm going to plop it down here. And we're going to do a fun technique with one of our splashes. Now this is our outrageous pink splash, and it looks so bright right now, doesn't it? Doesn't it look almost scary bright? It's actually one of our neon colors. But this color, when you dilute it with water, turns into the funnest, yummiest pink. So don't be scared when you actually see it. Now, if you don't have outrageous pink as one of your splashes in your products, you definitely could use watermelon or, you know, any of our other pinks really to get the same effect. The color will change a little bit. But for this particular card, I did use the outrageous pink. It's just outrageous. Can you believe it? Okay, so I am shaking it up a little bit to make sure all the good color is all worked in. Sometimes it kind of settles to the bottom. And what I'm going to do is, instead of actually spritzing it out, I'm going to open this and I'm just going to be adding some color onto my sheet with a little wand or the little plastic tubing. So I'm just adding some color. I'm not adding a ton, and again, if you want to, you can experiment with this technique with a scrap piece of paper. You don't have to go directly to your, die cut piece, but you just need a fair amount of color there. And then what I also have here is one of our medium misters, and this is just filled with plain water, good old plain water. I'm going to go ahead and do two things right now. I'm going to spritz the panel just real lightly. Now this is not watercolor splash. It's not one of our color splash sheets. It's just regular cardstock. So I don't want to super saturate it with water, but I do want to add just a little misting of water. That's going to make this technique blend a lot better. So I'm going to spray both the sheet and my cardstock. I'm going to kind of hold it to the side. We have some kind of a side view. Oh, here we go. We've got all these fancy cameras now. Roy's got new cameras in here all the time. So on the clear view sheet, I'm actually adding a fair amount of water. Like I want it to be pretty watery. And then just for fun, I'm going to take some of our silk, some of our sparkle silk. Now I can't remember if this was actually in the directions. I think it is. But we do have sparkle silk we needed for another project, so you should have it handy. So do you see how I just added some sparkle silk? And I don't know if you can really tell on the film, but it does add that fun little sparkly element. Now I'm going to take my cardstock and I'm just going to do a nice smooshing technique. So all I did was lay it face down, and that's the piece that I had already filled with water. And look how fun. Look, it is so pretty already. That really, really loud color really toned down to this soft, lovely pink. Now, I don't know if Roy can get in any closer. Oh, yeah. He got it. He got it. Look at that. So you can see that pretty sparkle silk in there. Do you see it? See how it just makes that color sparkle? So it catches the light right there, and you can definitely see that it has that fun sparkle silk. Yep, there we go. Okay, so this is going to have to dry just a few minutes. Like I said, I didn't super saturate this card base. I didn't soak it, but just added a little bit of water to make it absorb the color a little bit better. So this will take a few minutes to dry. Kind of leave that there. I'm going to lay all of our pieces out. And then what I'm going to have Roy do is just go ahead and freeze the camera shot right here, because this is how far we've gotten. We still have a few more pieces to stamp. So I'll go ahead and have him freeze that camera shot so you can go ahead and catch up or experiment with doing this color technique. Again, if you want to do it on scratch paper first, go ahead and do that. And then we'll give your panel just a couple minutes to dry, and I will be right back. Okay, so now we're back, and hopefully your panel is starting to dry, and if it's not, that's okay. You can set it aside because we're going to work on a couple other stamped images while that finishes drying. You do have another option. Mine is dry right now. You do have the option if you have a heat tool handy, so like one of our Journey heat tools here, you can just kind of give that a quick little air dry, or I should say a power dry, to dry it even faster, but mine's pretty dry right now. But like I said, we're going to set it aside for just a minute. We're going to do a little bit more stamping now. We want to add the cute little fringy banner here, which I didn't pull that stamp set earlier. So you're going to want this darling little fringe. So pull that stamp set out here. It's like, come on, pull it out. I think it works better if you pull it from this side. Okay. And this is just going to be stamped in black licorice, so pretty easy peasy. Put black licorice back. And then we're going to do a little fussy cutting. And no, there's not a die for this one. So even if you bought the bonus pack, you're still going to have to fussy cut right along with us. But I'm sure you're up to it. This one's actually not super complicated. Let me grab my little detail shears here. So best scissors ever to do fussy cutting with. If you don't already have the detail shears, you're gonna want to pick them up because they are the best. I'm not kidding. So we're just gonna come along and fussy cut. You can do as close as you want, or you can do a little farther apart, a little farther away from the stamped line. It's whatever you're comfortable with. And just go ahead and fussy cut right around all the little tassels. Kind of give them a cute little tassel-y look at the end there. And again, you can dive all the way into in between the tassels. Sorry, I hope I'm not moving too much, making it all blurry. You could do just as simple as this, or you can kind of come in and do a little bit more detail between the tassels. Again, totally up to you, however much detail you like. I kind of like going in between and taking out a little bit extra. Gives it a little more definition. And the last tassel. So this is just going to be a fun element that we're going to layer on as we add all the finished elements to our cards. So I get the scraps away. Don't lose this little circle right here. We're going to stamp that next. But see how cute the little tassel is? Just a little detailed. I think this is going to be a great stamp for so many different kind of projects. I love it. So it's going to go up there with my stamped sentiment. Now this little guy is going to be a fun one. We're going to actually layer 2 different stamps on it. So I'm going to grab my Outrageous Pink ink. By the way, isn't this pretty when it dried? Is that not like the prettiest color? Remember what it started out as? Ooh, so bright. But when it's diluted, it's so pretty, you guys. I love it. So we're going to grab that Outrageous Pink ink and we're going to stamp a little heart right in the center, more or less, of this circle. I actually think we're going to stamp it a little bit to the left. So there we go. Because I'm going to leave words for the little tiny word you, because you guys are getting it, right? You're getting it? Heart you. Oh, so cute. Love you. I want to stamp this one as a little test first to make sure I'm doing it. And you kind of want the U overlapping your heart a little bit. If you want to, you can put it next to or overlapping. I think it's super sweet overlapping. So see that cute little accent? So fun. I just love that little word you from the original Sending My Love stamp set. Now I'm going to have to remember to put it back so I don't lose it. That's about classic. Okay, so now I think we've just about got all the pieces ready to assemble. What I didn't grab was this fun little film strip piece. Now this was in your kit, so you're going to want to grab that. It's quite curly, so don't mind that. We're going to give you a tip on how to fix that. But the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take my little Dalmatian print. And it should pretty much be the same size as your front of your card. Go ahead and adhere that to the front of your card base. I'm just using our little Journey tape runner here. You can use white liner, whatever kind of adhesive you want. But this piece is not popped up, so it's just flat on your card base. Kind of line it up here. Yes, get it lined up, Kim. All right, there we go. So that's going to be adhered down there, flat. And then before we start adding this panel, I'm going to show you how to add this film strip piece. And then you also got this cute little sticker pack. Now this is just a piece that's trimmed up off of one of our deco strips. We have used the other half of the strips for other kits, which is pretty fun. But you will have lots of extra sticker pieces on this. For this particular one, I'm using one of the striped pieces. So you can take these apart. And we're just going to use, this sticker is actually in 2 pieces, the stripes, which you may not realize until you start peeling it. So see how there's 2 different stripe pieces. So you only need one right now. In fact, you don't even need this whole one, but you can go ahead and trim it off or do whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay this guy down. Actually, I'm going to trim the end, angle the end first, because it's going to kind of peek through your film strip. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay it kind of on the left side of my card base here, or my card panel, my smooshed panel. Now when you get it up here, you can just fold it right over and tuck the extra behind. So this length doesn't really matter so much. Again, we're going to be layering it with this little film strip piece. So it's going to kind of just peek through the window right there. So it can be a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. It doesn't really matter. No big deal. Now this piece is going to be a little bit too long, but what I suggest you do is, in order to attach this piece, you have a couple options here. You can use a brad or something like that, but I love to use our little Journey stapler. So this does little tiny mini staples that are so cute. In this case, I have the silver staples loaded in here. So again, I'm just going to kind of line it up. I'm going to staple it pretty much right in the middle right there. That's going to hold that film strip down to my panel, right? Now this one I think would be kind of fun to trim at a little angle too. So I'm just going to come in here and trim, you know, about 1 inch or so off. Again, you can leave it however long you want. And then because this is still kind of bouncing up a little bit, I'm going to add one more staple at the bottom. This time I'm going to, you could either do it this way or you could do it this way or, you know, whatever. Whatever tickles your fancy. I'm just going to kind of staple it down there at the end. So again, from something that went to be so kind of crazy and curly, now the staples just hold it down really nice. Isn't that cool? So I think this is one of the accents that's in our catalog that's been kind of overlooked sometimes or forgotten about, but I just love the kind of vintage look of it. The fact that it almost looks like an old-fashioned either roll of film or film strip. Who's old enough to remember film strips from school? Oh, Rye's back here raising his hand. Rye, raise your hand. You remember film strips? Rye is the film guy. He probably was... Wait, let me guess. Were you like the AV guy in your class? I'm looking at him because he's right over there. I kind of was,
yes.
You what? A little bit.
I ruined a video as the AV guy.
Oh.
My first video was terrible.
I can totally picture Rye being like, I volunteer, I'll be the AV guy. I love it. That's so much fun. I'm not that technical, so probably I never could have been that person because I would have totally messed it up every time. Oh my gosh, so fun. Okay, so now the rest of the card is really just about kind of assembling all the pieces. I think I do want to add a little bit of our bubblegum silk to this. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm going to go ahead and add it. I'm going to add it to this panel and my card panel. Let's see, do I want it on this too? Yeah, heck yeah. Let's put it on all these fun little pieces. So before I assemble it, I'm just going to add a little bit of the bubblegum silk. You probably could put the card together and then add the silk too. That's fine, but sometimes I feel like I have a little bit more control if I have it, my individual pieces. So again, when you're adding the silk, it's just kind of like a flicking motion, almost like you're flicking ash from a cigarette. I know, we probably don't have any smokers out there. That's good, but that is kind of the motion. So again, just a light dusting of bubblegum silk. And you can see how that kind of just adds another little bit of dimension to all these pieces. I just love it. Super fun. And that dries pretty fast, so should be dry in no time. Now, as we assemble the card, we're going to want to use some kind of foam adhesive, foam squares, or if you have our foam tape, that would work too. I do like to layer quite a bit of foam on here to make it sturdy. Also, a few extra foam squares make this panel, if it's still tiny bit warped, that'll make that lay really nicely too. If you wanted to reinforce this panel with an extra little square of cardstock, that is another option too, and that would make this panel like lay a little bit flatter. If it bugs you, it doesn't bug me, but it might bug some people, right? Okay, so this little guy we're pretty much more or less centering on your card front. You can do to the left or right a little bit if you want. Again, it's your card, make it your own. Okay, so see how it's got that fun little bit of dimension on there. Those foam squares kind of pop it up. I'll do my sentiment next. Now because we have this film strip still loose right here, I feel like it's kind of fun just to pop that maybe underneath your film strip just a little bit, right? Isn't that cute? So much fun. So this is not on foam squares. This is just regular adhesive holding that guy down. Get my stamps away here. I do think it's fun to add this guy with a little bit of foam adhesive, so I'm going to take my foam squares and just trim them in thirds. Who does this, right? I'm like one of those crazy people that cuts my foam squares into pieces because you can get so much more use out of them, right? It's just my thriftiness coming through. So again, I cut the foam squares in thirds, and then I'm just putting one little strip or one little section, get back over to the video, behind each little tassel-y part. Straighten that one up a little bit. So see, just one per tassel. Now I peel the backs off. It's like watching paint dry, right? People are like, get on with it. And then this little tassel kind of just decorates your circle. It can go a little higher, below your sentiment, a little lower, just kind of wherever it feels right to you. I'm going to put it right about there. And your last piece, the little love you, heart you. I did go ahead and pop this up on a foam square too. And this is super cute, just kind of tucked right in here with your tassel. Oh my gosh. Is that like the cutest thing ever? I love it so much. I'm like, okay, Roy, get the video over here. Over here. He's got this fun RoboCam where he can like go everywhere. Oh, we're going to make everyone dizzy. Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. So check it out, you guys. Card number 1 is completely done. I'm going to move my hands. Just kidding. I forgot one tiny little step. Because look what I just found out of my little kit. The tiny little sparkle drops. The little red ones that are in your kit. So I forgot to add these, so we'll just quickly do that, and then officially we'll be done with project number 1. So these little dots, you can put them really just about anywhere, but you want a couple of them here. Grab the little gluey part. So a couple of them in the lower part, and then maybe one a little bit higher. So there's 2, and we'll put number 3 kind of up in this corner. So there we go. Now we are officially done with card number 1. Isn't that cute? I think the little actual sparkles add that last little cute little touch. Love it, love it. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Roy to freeze that frame for just a minute so you can go ahead and finish project number 1. Good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. And we will be right back to start project number 2. So we officially will move that one aside. And the next card project that we're going to work on, the kit looks like this. It's got the really pretty candy apple card base, and then a pre-die cut piece right here, and all these cute little hearts right here added. So this is the kit number 2 that we're going to work on. Go ahead and pull mine apart here. Again, I'm not sure if this was project number 2 in the booklet. It might be. I'll have to check real quick. Grab my booklet out. Let's see. Oh, it is. No, it's not. So this is in the booklet. It's actually your 3rd project, but we're going to do that second in the video because it's using the same stamp set that we just used pretty much. So again, if you're following your instruction booklet, it is the 3rd one there. So I've got all these cute little pieces, and check out this little guy. So cute. It's one of our little baby envelope die cuts. I absolutely love this die. It's one of my favorites out of our big catalog. It's one that we just launched this summer. So love that. We're going to have fun with that in a minute. In the meantime, you can fold your card base. Again, scoring if you have the scoring tool. Otherwise, just giving it a nice little crease. I'm going to set this guy aside. And then this fun little panel is really just a mat to go on this one. So I'm not going to adhere it right now, but that's what the watermelon panel is for. You can set that aside. I think we're going to do our stamping and our embossing first. So again, you have this little panel that's already pre-pierced for you. This is the piercing element from our circle set. And it's super fun. Even though we haven't actually die cut a circle out, I think the piercing element is just so much fun. It adds that really cute little, just fun texture. So I'm going to go ahead and grab your All the Feels die set again, or stamp set, excuse me. And the first stamp we're going to use is the cute little XOXO stamp. So go ahead and pull that one off. Get it on one of your clear blocks. And instead of just one color of ink, we're going to actually stamp this in several colors just to get a cute little background here. So you're going to want to grab your Riverstone ink and your Tin Pail. So these are 2 colors of gray that we're going to use. And not only is this almost like a little tic-tac-toe look, that's really what we're going to do here. We're going to do 3 across and 3 down stamp sets. So 9 different times we're going to stamp this guy. So I do have a little piece of a baby wipe I'm going to kind of clean in between, because probably some of you could get this lined up perfectly, but actually, you know what? I'm going to start in the middle. That's a good idea. I just realized that as I started inking up my stamp. I'm going to go ahead and ink it in Tin Pail, because Tin Pail is the center stamp. And then I'll have a better chance of getting it lined up, right? Is this a good idea? This is a good idea, Kim. I like talking to myself too. So we're going to go ahead and stamp it, and you want it about a 1/2 inch below the top of your circle, or maybe not even quite a 1/2 inch. So there's your tin pail, first stamp. And then after that, it's really going to be about coming back and following the pattern. So now I'm inking it in Riverstone. I'm going to go right next door, and also Riverstone on the other side. Now don't measure, but I think I got it pretty close to centered. I might be going uphill a little bit, that's okay. I'm going to come back with tin pail. And just follow your checkerboard pattern. If you do go a little bit crooked, you can always come back and straighten out as you come to your next row. And we're going to be having elements on top of this too, so don't stress too much if yours is not 100% perfect. So again, coming around the bend here, just going every other one. Going back to tin pail. And my last Riverstone. So remember how I said earlier that this stamp set is so much fun? It's got so many different fun little stamps. You're going to have a blast coming up with so many different patterns for the backgrounds of your cards. Can't wait to see what you do. Okay, so now my grays are done. We'll set these guys aside. And this little black square that you have right here is going to be for the super fun sentiment, feeling all the feels. Kind of a little trendy little saying that's out there right now. It's just like, you're making me feel all the feels. So good. So we're going to want to emboss this. So what we have to do for that is grab some of our clear pigment ink. And before I actually stamp on here, I've got a little tip for you. Now this is not a requirement, but it really does work great. So I want to share this tip with you. What I have here is our colorless blender pan pastel. So like I said, this is colorless, doesn't add any color to your projects. It's just really a blender. But what it also is a really cool anti-static material. And I think it's because it's got that powdery finish. So I just have it on one of our soft tools, and I'm just going to lightly go over this black square. And so see, it kind of has a little powdery look, but that'll come off as soon as we get our stamping done. And then when I stamp the clear pigment ink and add my powder on top, which I'm embossing with white powder, it's not going to stick and get in all the places I don't want it to be, right? Does that make sense? So it's almost like a little anti-static powdery effect. I love it. Good way to get more uses out of our products too, right? So feeling all the feels, I want it to be as close as I can to centered on this little black licorice panel here. And the ink is a little bit sticky, so it might stick a tiny bit. I'm going to go ahead and use my pink paper to catch my powder because I don't have my media tray right here. If I did, that would totally work good. So be generous with your white powder and just go ahead and dump it all on. You can always put it back in the jar, of course. So now when I tap it on, you can see that I virtually have no extra little powder hanging around. I might have one little piece here that I can just brush off with my finger. But isn't that cool where you get that really crisp, clean cling to your powder? Put that away. So now we're just going to emboss it with our heat tool. And excuse the noise here because it's going to be noisy for just a second. Turn your volume down if it's going to bug you. It's not that loud really, but... So if you've never actually heat embossed, this is pretty fun to watch. Because as the powder melts, this has to take just a second to heat up. It turns such a pretty crisp white. I love it. Kind of watch the magic happen as the powder melts. Ooh, are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? Love it. I've kind of been on this trend of doing a lot of white embossing on cardstock. Mostly black, but all different colors too. Kind of blowing away. Let me hold it with my crease tool. Now we're getting smart. Doesn't burn your fingers. So again, as the powder melts, it just turns into this really gorgeous, really professional finish look. Love it. That looks pretty good. If you want, you can do a little bit of additional melting on the back of your cardstock in case there's any extra powder that hasn't melted. And that's good if you have places where it's especially thick. But again, that's kind of an option. Usually it heats just fine from the top. So isn't that fun? So cool, I love it. Awesome kind of trendy look. So we're gonna end up layering this sentiment up with our cute little baby envelope. Yes, we get to put this little guy together. Now it's so simple, anyone can figure it out. You don't really need me to tell you, but there is crease lines in the envelope and you just go ahead and fold all the little sections down. Then we're gonna add a little bit of our craft glue to hold it together. We're not gonna glue the envelope shut. I'm gonna leave it open because I want some of my little hearts coming out. But you can kind of crease it so it's got a little bit of a, you know, flap look there. And like I said, the best glue really to adhere any of your paper-to-paper products, and that would be if you're doing any kind of box or if you're doing any kind of a, you know, treat holder or any kind of an envelope. Just go ahead and use a little bit of our craft glue. And it dries pretty quickly. Like, it won't dry instantly. It's not like, you know, super glue or something. But a lot of times I'll kind of press it down, then maybe I'll take one of my little blocks or something. Oop, that one's too little. Maybe a block like this and just let it just dry for just a second. In the meantime, we can start putting the rest of our card together. That sounds fun. This panel that you've got right here, the watermelon panel, you're just going to go ahead and just adhere it down with, again, any adhesive you have. It could be white liner or this tape runner, whatever you've got handy. But it is not popped up like on a, you know, separate panel. Oh, actually, I just fibbed. I think it is popped up. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll switch real quick. Since I put tape on here, I'm going to go ahead and put the white panel on first. And then I fibbed a little bit because then this panel is actually popped up on your card base. So since I added the tape runner, I kind of went to plan B there. But this guy actually is popped up with foam squares. So let me grab those and put some foam squares on the back. There we go. Got to figure out which of my pieces are popped up and which aren't. I created the cards quite a while ago, so Karina had time to kit them. Sometimes you forget which pieces you end up popping up or down. Okay, so now this one goes on the card base. And there really isn't a whole lot of candy apples showing, just a little strip at the top and a little strip at the bottom. But just enough to give that fun little effect. Love it. Okay, check my envelope out. Yep, feels like it's pretty dry. Now this is going to be kind of the fun part because we're going to take this little bag of hearts that we have right here and they're just going to be spilling out of your envelope. So there's really no right or wrong way to get those, you know, in your envelope. You may want to add a couple before you adhere this to your card. It really doesn't matter which way you go there. I'm going to go ahead and add my envelope first. Now you'll want to grab your sentiment because these two get kind of layered together and they kind of overlap. So kind of get your placement of where you want them. Be tilted a little bit more, a little bit less, you know, really whatever is good for you. And get that guy down there, and then the sentiment is actually popped up with a couple of squares too. The envelope is not. That one's straight to your card base, but this sentiment is. So I'm going to kind of, you know, angle it a little bit. So super cute. It's cute already, and we haven't even added the little hearts, right? So fun. Okay, so some of these hearts are popped up on little tiny pieces of foam square and some are directly on the card. And again, you can use whatever judgment you want. If you do not want to pop them up, that's totally fine. But I think it's kind of fun to do a few. So in order for it to fit on the back of this guy, I'm actually cutting these foam squares kind of more like in triangles. So did you see that, how it kind of went cross and then cross the other way? That way you have a little kind of triangle piece of foam. Whoa, that camera gets in really close. And then you can go ahead and pop up your little heart. You might have extra hearts too in your bag. You don't have to use all of them, but you can if you want. I want to make sure that there's no foam showing, you know, on the front side. So I'm just going to have one heart popping out of my little envelope there. Then I'm going to tuck a couple inside. This time I'll just use the craft glue. So we'll put a little pink one inside there. Kind of peeping out. Another pink one. And again, you can do this however you want. You can do not as many hearts or more hearts or whatever. I'm going to do one more red one. So there's my hearts kind of tucked in my envelope, right? And then I'm going to have a few more kind of trailing out. So I think I probably am going to use all my little hearts out of here. Might as well, right? Let's see, I'm going to have a pink one popping up. The little tiny backs of the foam squares are like, eek! So this one will be kind of coming out of the envelope. I'll do one more glued down. Coming up here. And one more pink one. So we're almost done with this card. There's a few little pieces left. And again, you kind of want the idea that these little hearts are just kind of floating out of your envelope. Isn't that cute? It's so cute. I almost had a Minnesota accent there. Did you guys know that my husband is from Minnesota? Once in a while I get the little cute in there and the accent kind of slips in, even though it's not really my accent. Pretty funny. But it is super cute. I feel like we need a little bit of silk on this, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my silver silk. And you probably could do silver and sparkle silk. That would be really cute. But I might just do a little bit of silver right now. And it doesn't need a whole lot. I'm going to probably mostly aim for like this top corner and this bottom corner for when I'm adding the silk. Again, no right or wrong. Whatever makes your card look cute. So again, a little bit more, a little bit less. Again, whatever you think in your own little crafty world. Now, the very last step, and I do save this for last because it's journey glaze. We're going to add a fun little accent of journey glaze to your hearts, but it does take a little while to dry. So definitely get your card all assembled and all ready to go, and then grab your journey glaze and do that very, very last. Because then you can set it aside and let it have time to dry. So I'm going to probably add journey glaze to all of my little hearts. Again, you can choose to do like only the red ones or only the pink ones or, you know, whatever. But I think it adds just a cute little element to all of your hearts. So the journey glaze is really cool and it's really dimensional. So don't be too shy about adding a generous amount. You don't want it to drip off the edges. But it does kind of make these little hearts almost look like enamel dots or something. It's so cool. So again, it won't easily go off the edge of your heart, but don't put too much. So isn't that fun how it makes it just so glossy and cute? So absolutely love that card. And guess what? Card number 2 is all finished right there. I'm going to go ahead and have Roy kind of get it in the frame there and give it a little freeze shot, and I'll give you a chance to go ahead and finish up if you're a little bit behind or maybe your envelope's still drying or whatever. And guess what? Card number 2 is finished, and we will be right back with project number 3. Okay, we are back now to start project number 3. Now hopefully your project number 2 got all the cute little hearts glazed, and be sure to set that aside in a good spot because that's the worst thing ever, isn't it? When you have glaze drying and then you accidentally like touch it or put something on top. I mean, not that I would know that that would ever happen, but yes, I speak from experience. So in any case, set project number 2 aside. You are on a roll now. Project number 3 actually has the project with the most stamping on it. So this is going to be really fun. And the kit you're going to be looking for is this little guy. So it actually, in the booklet, I think is project number 2. So if you're following along with the project, it is the project called You Are Loved. And that is the second one in the booklet. But again, the kit looks like this. This has the cute little pattern paper inside. I'll put my booklet aside there. And you're going to want to go ahead and dig right in and get all these fun little pieces out. One thing that I did not mention earlier was these little strips that we had in project number, this was project number 1. Remember I said we're going to be using these later? So this is for the bonus kit. So if you do have leftover stickers, don't lose those. Just set those aside. Just a little quick reminder for you. Okay, so this kit has a card base, and then it also has another panel of white in here. So I want to talk about these 2 panels real quick. The card base is already scored and folded for you. We did this because it fits in the little kit bag much better, even though it's one of the kind of what I call tent fold cards. It opens in the top and it's long and skinny. So if you're wondering, we don't normally do that, but if you're wondering, like, what's the deal with that? We did go ahead and score it and fold it for you in your kit. So that is your card base. So go ahead and just set that aside. We're not going to need that right now. And again, that is the piece that's folded. So you set that aside. Now you have another piece which kind of does look like a card base, so it is a little bit confusing. But this is the piece that we're going to do all of our fun little stamping on. So you just have this big giant piece of paper. If you're more comfortable with the smaller piece, you could cut it in half, but I'm just going to work with it just like this. Now, like I said, we have a lot of fun stamping to do. I'm going to put my other little goodies to the side too, because I'm going to bring in all these amazing colors for our stamping. So in addition to black licorice, which we will use for the typewriter, we have all these great colors. We have peaches and cream, candy apple, cranberry bliss, and fresh sage. It's kind of hard to say, fresh sage. Got to get your S's and your SH's all together. Fresh sage is one of the new colors, as is peaches and cream to our color family. So I thought it would be really fun to bring those in and just show you how well they play with all the other colors in our original color families. And I think this is a really great color combination for anything, but in particular, a different color combination for like a Valentine's project, which is pretty much what this is. Although, again, it doesn't have to be only for Valentine's. It can be anytime you're sending a cute little project to a loved one. Okay, so I think we're going to stamp the typewriter first because that is the one that's black licorice, and we'll just kind of stamp that and get it out of the way, and then we'll move on to all those fun little flowers. So like I said, if you have not already broken into your stamps, go ahead and just pull them apart. And I think you probably have noticed, if you looked at the stamp set at all these different little sayings can fit on this typewriter paper. So we designed the stamp set so that you can put pretty much any different little word in here. So for this project, we did use the You Are Loved, but of course it is your project and you can just switch up any little sentiment you want. So I'm going to pull both of those stamps out for right now. So again, if you wanted to make this a Miss You card, how cute would that be? Okay, mount this little guy on my block, and I'll get my little You Are Loved over here too. Guess what? I get to use my favorite block again. My little D block. Yay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stamp the typewriter twice. We don't need the entire typewriter twice, but I do want to get this little paper that's in the typewriter for the second impression. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it twice. Then we're going to fussy cut the paper out a second time. When your stamps are brand new, you may want to go ahead and test them on a scrap paper or something. Sometimes I like to do that to really get them broke in, right? But if you're super confident, just go for it. I like stamping the typewriter twice anyway, because then I can pick my favorite impression and use that for the one that I want, and then the second one can be for the sentiment. I don't know, they're both pretty much exactly the same. So I'll go ahead and stamp my sentiment on the first typewriter. So again, pick what's your favorite. And you just you probably want to angle the sentiment just a little bit so it kind of matches up with the paper. And just kind of put it right in there. Isn't that sweet? So I think it's so fun that the sentiments are all separate, and you can totally personalize it and make it any sentiment you want. So much fun. Okay, so I'm not going to fussy cut right now. I'm going to continue stamping, and then I'm going to come back and do all my fussy cutting at one time. I think we'll probably have to put a little fussy cutting music on. Roy's like, wait, I don't know about this. Once we get to the fussy cutting, we'll see if we come up with something. Okay, so now you've got a variety of super cute little flower stamps in here. And again, you can pick any ones you want to do, you know, your particular card project. But I'm going to take this little triple leaf. I'll lay out the ones that I used. So we're going to take the little triple leaf. Then we're going to take this fun little, I don't know what kind, this almost feels like a plumeria or some kind of flower like that. Probably not a flower expert, but we need that little guy. Then we'll take the big old fluffy bloom here. That's a pretty scientific name, right? Fluffy bloom. And then we'll take this little sprig. This reminds me of baby's breath. Am I right? Kind of reminds me of baby's breath. It's got a little dainty little flower on it. Let's see, what else? Yep, let's take this one too. So this is kind of the closed one. This one looks familiar to me, but it's not coming to mind exactly what that is. So we've got leaves, a couple little bigger flowers, this little pointed flower, and then the triple leaf. So those are the sets we're going to use right now. So if you want to go ahead and get those ready. If you have enough blocks, you can mount them each on a block. Or if you need to switch them out, that's totally fine too. I'm going to put mine on a few different blocks here. Let's put this guy here. And again, mounting them on the non-grid side is always handy. The longer one over here. We're going to be stamping these multiple times, so it is kind of handy if you've got blocks. Or maybe you're working with a neighbor and you guys can switch off. So there we go. Got all of mine on blocks. Put the little stamp thing away. Now there is directions in your instruction booklet if you want to open it, and then it tells you exactly how many times to stamp each of them. And you can do that, or you can follow along with me, whatever works for you. We're going to do this little stamp with a kind of closed bud and peaches and cream. So we're going to want to stamp this 2 times. And again, if you want to stamp extra, you can stamp, you know, a few extra or whatever. Whatever tickles your fancy. And then I'm going to go with Cranberry Bliss. That's the little bit darker of the 2 reds I have. And I'm going to grab the big fluffy bloom that I so scientifically named. So fluffy bloom we're going to want to also stamp twice. Ooh, isn't that pretty in the cranberry? I love it. So pretty. Now I am leaving enough room so I can fussy cut around these, so don't get them too close together, right? A little bit of breathing space there. Now I'll get my fresh sage and the little leaf that's got the 3 leaves, the triple leaf I call it. That one we're going to do in fresh sage. So you got to practice saying that. Say it fast, 5 times each. Fresh sage, fresh sage. This one I'm going to stamp 3 times because we're going to be tucking these little sprigs in a little variety of places. And then this little flower, which is kind of the little 6-petal flower. Let's do that one in Candy Apple. I love using the 2 different shades of red because it really makes your project pop a little bit more. This guy's also going to get stamped 3 times. So cute. And actually when we fussy cut, I think we fussy cut some of these little stems off, so don't worry about those too much. Then the last thing we have is this kind of little, I guess you call it baby's breath. That's what I called it. Maybe we'll do that one in peach also. Peaches and cream. So I'm going to stamp this little guy twice. Look how dainty that is. Isn't that adorable? It's almost like the little tiny leaves are little tiny hearts. So cute. All right. Okay, so I do believe that is all the stamping we need to kind of layer up all of our pieces, and all these pieces are all going to be fussy cut out. Now, if you do have the die, you're going to get a little bit of help if you have the Plus kit, but check it out, people. Don't get too jealous because not every single little flower even has a die. So I just got to tease you a little bit, saying no matter what, whether you have the die or not, you're still going to be doing a little bit of fussy cutting. So it's totally fine. It's totally fun. Just relax, kick back. Maybe now's a fun time to grab yourself a cup of coffee or a little drink or whatever. And then I'm going to just start fussy cutting mine. I won't be chatting too much. So I think we could have Roy, if he was able to find any little soft music for us, he could put that going while we're doing our fun little fussy cutting here. Ooh, I hear something. He's got it. All right. Wow. That was like, hopefully didn't put you to sleep, but that was amazing music. Thank you, Roy.
You are welcome.
Just kind of fussy cutting away there. So again, if you needed to pause the video at this point, obviously you can pause it at any point there and kind of get all your little fussy cutting done. Absolutely whatever works for you. Take as much time as you need. I am a fairly quick fussy cutter, I think, but like I said, you can totally pause it and do whatever you need to do. But now that we've got all these fun, delicious looking pieces cut out, the hard part is done. Now it's just all the fun of assembling the card. So let me kind of scooch these up a little bit, and then we'll go back to our card base and kind of putting this little cute card together. All right, so there's a couple pieces that we're going to want to kind of assemble first. And then you've also got this little bag of goodies. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to pull the stuff out. It is a little fun piece of fresh sage ribbon. I'll let that uncurl there. And then you've got 3 little pearls. So don't lose those, guys. Those are our peaches and cream pearls. I'll try not to forget them like I did on our very first card. Okay, pearls, stay there, don't get lost. Okay, and then you also have a die cut of one of our hexagon dies. So you're going to want to keep this one handy too. Now in order to get this little guy together, we're going to adhere these 2 pieces first and then tie our ribbon before we add our border strips. So that's going to be quick and easy. Just go ahead and look at the cute pattern in the back. Isn't that fun? Actually, I'm going to take just a fun little brief time out here to show you the pattern paper. This is one of the new pattern papers in the pack that you got in your project kit. Let me just pull that pack over here because it's so much fun. You guys, look at all these amazing prints. You're going to have so much fun playing with all these. And like I said, we gave you additional papers for your kit, so we didn't have to cut into this kit at all. So you have a full pack of 6x6 double-sided paper. Look at that cute stripe. So much fun. And then there's the cute little hearts with the typewriter background. That's a toughie. I don't know which is my favorite. I adore the hearts, but I have a really soft spot for this typewriter print. Then we've got some other prints in here. Oh, the little envelopes. Look how cute. Oh my gosh, seriously. Shoot me now. Then we've got this sweet little floral. Now this is adorable, and this kind of reflects some of the colors we're using in the card project right now. But to me, that's really springy too. That can go right into spring and it doesn't have to be, you know, so strictly Valentine's. You got your X's and O's. That cute little heart print. Love it. Ooh, and this floral. Again, use that print anytime, anywhere. And then this is kind of a funky one. This is one of the last prints that we designed. And I thought, you know what? Throw a little bit of our haystack color in there. I just love it. It really makes it kind of really super trendy. And then it's got the sweet little floral on the back. So cute, right? Oh my gosh. So just had to share those extra fun little sneak peek of all your prints in there. I know you're going to have so much fun creating with those. But again, so we've got our typewriter print on this card, on this panel. And then before we add our borders, we're going to go ahead and tie this fun little fresh sage bow here. So be sure to do this before you glue everything down, because if you do, you might be sad you forgot to tie your ribbon. So we're tying it kind of more or less in the middle, and we can move this around a little bit when we get the card, you know, the other pieces glued in place. But you're going to want to tie the bow all the way over here on the right side. So I kind of like to do a little bunny ears because of the satin ribbon, right? I want the pretty satin to show out on both sides. So I do 2 little bunny ears. And then I cross them over. Then I can kind of do my little adjustments with the tails. Fluff it up, make it kind of cute. Probably not even going to trim it quite yet because I kind of want to wait to get those other pieces on there. But at the very minimum, make sure that you get this guy, you know, tied in there, fluffed up, and all ready to go. Okay, now we can take our 2 border pieces. Now, these are pre-cut for you. These are from our Border Basics die set. And you will see that they are too long for your card. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and adhere them first and then trim them off. So you can kind of hold the card this side. You want to tuck quite a bit of it under the panel so you don't have too much of it showing. Really what we're going for is just kind of the little scalloped edge. You'll be able to see it better on this other side. This bow's kind of in the way. But I'm going to put it, adhere that side down. Like I said, you'll be able to tell a little bit better over here. So again, kind of just tuck it almost all the way under. You don't want it so far that your little scallops aren't showing, but about right there. Okay, so now we have this extra edge of the border die cut, and what I like to do is turn my card over, and then I can go kind of right along the paper edge, and it ends up cutting fairly straight. So go ahead and do that to all 4 of your edges. I've got a tiny bit of pattern paper I'm going to trim off there too. And the very last edge. All right, so how cute is that? That's such a fun little element to our little edge of our pattern paper panel there. I just love it. Okay, so now we've already got the bow tied, so we are a step ahead of the game there. This little guy can get adhered to your card front now. If you wanted, you could pop it up. I did not pop it up when I designed the original card, so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it down flat. But it would be an option to pop it up if you like that look. Make a real super fluffy card, right? Okay, and you just want this panel pretty much centered on your white card base. There we go. So cute. So this is a very good start to our card. Now what we're going to want to do is we are going to add our hexagon now, and you do want to pop this up. So you're going to want to grab your foam squares and start popping this guy up. Grab my foam squares here. Now we did it so the 2 points are straight up and down. If you turn it this way, it kind of runs into your ribbons. That's why I chose to do the points up and down. If you were curious about that. Sometimes it's like, how does the brain of Kim work? Nobody knows. Roy's over there going, yeah, nobody knows. Right, Roy?
The world may never know.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to pop this guy up here, and I do want to kind of snuggle it right into the bow because I want this hexagon to be pretty much centered on my panel. So that's when we know the bow's going to kind of, that's why I didn't trim it, because I wanted to make sure the bow was all cute and pretty where I wanted it to go. But that looks pretty good, so I think I'll go ahead and trim my ribbon now. Just give it a cute little point. And if you want it smaller, of course, you could tie it tighter or whatever. So now we've got the basic of our card. So now it's really going to be a lot of fun of just layering up all your little floral pieces. We can start with this typewriter piece. When you saw me fussy cutting, you probably saw that I trimmed the 2 little edges of the typewriter off there. That's just so my "You Are Loved" can stand out nice and pretty. And then this just pops up. You could stamp your sentiment, of course, straight on there, but I think because we're doing all the other layering, I thought it would be fun to have this sentiment kind of pop. Almost like it's popping out of the typewriter, right? So kind of cute. Love that guy. And now these little elements, you're going to probably want to grab your craft glue, and we'll pop some up with foam squares. So that they don't all have to be popped up, but again, it's going to kind of be, you know, as you visually go through the piece, what pieces you want popped up and which ones you want flat. Let's see. Let's start with the typewriter first. We'll pop him up slightly to the top of the hexagon. So instead of being low, we're going to kind of put him up a little bit higher. Then not only will it not cover up the entire hexagon, but it'll leave room to tuck the other little flowers around. I'm just going to put some white glue on these little leaves. We'll start with one back there. And these you want kind of in a little bit of a visual triangle. So you want one there, one probably in with the typewriter here. Oops, let me trim this a little bit. See, these stems you can trim shorter if you want. Okay, so one there. This one's maybe a little bit shorter. And then one on this side of the typewriter. So see, we started with our basic visual triangle with all the 3 leaves. Check, check. All right. I'll probably do my little bit bigger, let me grab my smaller foam squares here. I'm going to do my bigger blossoms next, so my two big, what should we call them? Fluffy blooms. I'm going to tuck one here in the front of the typewriter. And I'm going to tuck one kind of right under the "You Are Loved." So again, that kind of balances out the two sides of my typewriter there. Looking good, looking good. Let's see. Let's put these little puffy peonies. That's what they are. Now I remember. They kind of remind me of peonies. Do they remind you of peonies? Kind of. And again, probably the stem is a little bit too long, so I'm going to trim that a little bit. I'm going to tuck this peony in up here by my fluffer wuffer. Such technical names, right? Oh, I've already got a dot. And then I'll put this one down by this guy. So again, kind of keeping a little balance going on here. Now we've got all three of these little red ones. I'm going to leave the stem on one. Pop it up here. For sure on one I'm going to trim the stem off, but okay, so one will tuck right in here. It's almost like kind of coming out of the typewriter too. Isn't that cute? I'm so silly, you guys. I'm just like, this card is so cute. It is pretty fun. It's going to take a lot of work. It's probably not one that you would make, you know, many, many multiples of, but how special is it to make for a loved one? Okay, so another little bloom there. And this one I'm going to kind of trim the whole little stem almost basically away. So see how you can't even really tell that the stem is gone. Because this one I kind of want to pop up pretty much like on top of the typewriter, right? Somewhere right in there. Okay, now I have a couple of these little baby's breath looking things, so I don't know if I need both of them. I'll probably use both of them. I'll tuck one up at the tippy top up here. And then I'll probably put one here because I've got this kind of gap here by the bow, right? So it makes sense to me to kind of fill that little spot in. So just let your eye be the judge as you kind of come along and fill in all the little pieces. And that can kind of go there and kind of work like tie right in with your bow. So look at that, you guys, you're so good. Love it. Love all your little elements on here. Now the last thing we have to do is put these three little pearls. See, I didn't forget. Good thing you guys reminded me. So they're on little sticky sheets. They've got adhesive on the back. I'll pop one in here. They're all the same size, so you don't have to worry about that. One up here. And then you kind of want your eye to go down to this corner next, so you want to put one down here. So cute and so fluffy, and we didn't add silk or anything. I think this card really speaks for itself, stands on its own, looks amazing. I'm gonna brush this thing away. I'll let Roy do a little freeze frame on that one in case you aren't 100% caught up. You can pause the video right there and finish your little fussy cutting or your assembly or whatever you need to do, and we will be right back. Alrighty, we are back for project number 4. We're in the home stretch. Oh my gosh, you guys have been doing so amazing. I know you have. Whether you're crafting by yourself or you're with a group of friends or there's 2 or 3 of you around the computer, no matter what you're doing or where you're at, I hope that you're having as much fun as I am, because this is just the best, crafting with my friends. So if you did order the Plus kit, you got a bonus project, and that's what we're going to go through right now. If you did not choose to get the Plus kit, I think that if you watch me make this project, you just might be tempted to go ahead and order for at least the die. So let me show you the die that we're going to be using. Now this obviously is already die cut for you in your kit, but the Plus kit included this Gable favor box, and it is so cute. When you see it assembled, you're just going to die. It's so much fun. Okay, so that's what we're using in here, and you'll be able to make as many boxes as you want. But like I said, this is already kitted out for you and already pre-cut, which is super cool. So go ahead and grab that last kit out and get all the fun little elements out. I'll kind of walk you through assembling the box. It's really super easy, nothing much to it. Now there is one additional piece that we did do. This is the original die cut straight out from the die. But for the front of the box, we went ahead and did one additional little die cut, which like I said is already done for you. And some of you might have guessed when we had our little preview of this video, this little box, or this little, I guess, slot, is actually the little attachment ribbon to our bow die. So in case you're wondering, if you're curious about where that die cut came from, it is the actual little ribbon that wraps around our bow die. So super cute. Like I said, already done for you. So when you have this die cut right here, you might want to grab your crease tool. But it already does have score lines on here, so it's really quite easy to follow the score lines. Sometimes I like to kind of bend them into themselves and then bend them back. It kind of helps break the little fibers of the paper. But go ahead and fold on all those score lines. Like I said, forward and back, whatever is your preferred method. And the crease tool just helps you get really sharp, nice creases on there. And this is the side panel. And on the top, you don't have to crease quite as much, but go ahead and give it a little bend because this is where your box is going to kind of bend at the top. It doesn't have to be as sharp, but you know what? The crease line is there, so it's all good. You just want those to all be flexible. Okay, so there's half of it. Oops, forgot the little side piece here. Again, bending the paper back and forth helps break the fiber of the paper and gives you those nice crisp lines. Do the same thing with this guy. Get the edge there. This is the front of our box, the one that's got the extra little slot die cut out. All of our little crease lines. There's so many, right? Almost there. This bottom one you want really to lay flat, so make sure that's nice and creased. So your box stands up straight, right? All right, so now to adhere the box is really pretty easy. You've got both sets of flaps. I like to start, doesn't matter which way you go, but you want to start with one of the flaps. It's going to just line up with this side of the box. So I put, again, I love the craft glue for any time that you're putting paper to paper. The craft glue really holds nice because it kind of absorbs into the paper. So again, I'm going to kind of line up these two sides. And it dries fairly quickly, but it gives you a little bit of time to, you know, do your fine adjustments. So I'm going to flip it over and make sure that it's all straight. So again, making sure that those lines line up really nice and tidy. And it does dry clear, so don't worry if a tiny bit of glue comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and just press this in place just for a second to make sure it's good and strong. And then it will go ahead and set in itself. And it dries, you know, maybe in about 5 minutes completely. But that'll be enough to just have it hold together. So now I want to go to the other flap, which is way over here. Add some more of the craft glue. Like my sound effects. Now you're going to actually kind of start assembling the box. You can still kind of leave it flat, though. You don't have to have it 3D yet. And this side should line up quite easily. So see, because you've got the shape of the box going already, it should line up quite well. I like to kind of keep it flat at this point because then I want to, you know, press these two papers together and make sure they're really well adhered. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and set this aside because we don't need this box right now. So before we actually finish assembling it, we're going to go ahead and let that glue dry really well. So once we've gotten this far, just kind of set it aside a little bit, and we'll work on some of the little finishing pieces for the box. Two fun things that we have, and I already showed you how to assemble these envelopes, is the two little baby envelopes. Now these are going to be the perfect little envelope to fit right inside that little slot we were just talking about. That'll be super fun. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere both of my little envelopes. I am going to leave them open for now because I think it would be super fun to add little notes or whatever inside. But we are going to add a little heart die cut to the outside. Like I said, I want to make sure it's not getting glued shut. And I'll put my little block there, let it dry, like my little tip. Envelope number 2. Again, you can kind of crease this, but I'm not going to glue that part shut. I'm really just kind of trying to get glue on these two edges right here so that it'll tuck into those little flaps. All right, another little block to hold that guy. We'll let those dry for a minute. Like I said, they dry pretty fast. So now you've got this little panel. This is our panel that goes on the front of our box. You'll see that we have two sizes of papers. Actually, the same size, but two panels of paper, I should say. One of them's going to be for your stamping, and one of them's going to be for your mat. But we used to kind of really try to cut these different sizes and be super accurate. But then a lot of people ended up stamping on the wrong piece or using the wrong piece for the mat. So now we've just decided to put two identical pieces in there. But keep in mind that one is for your little mat, for your pattern paper, and one is for your stamping. So again, it doesn't matter which, they're both exactly the same. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the pattern paper. This time we've got the heart side up, because it'll be so perfect for the front of our little box. So I'm going to go ahead and just adhere that to your little mat. So super cute, I can set that aside. Now I've got a little bit of stamping to do. Actually, I wonder if maybe I'll finish this little piece first. So remember I said just keep a hold of that extra little sticker sheet that we used earlier? Now we're going to use a piece of the stickers again. This time we're going to be using the little polka dot one. So you've got a little strip of white and a strip of black licorice. So take your polka dot stickers. You can either use both or you can use one. I think I'm going to try to get both of them. Kind of peel them up at the same time here. Keep in mind it is two separate strips, but if you can, try to kind of keep them together. You want to just cover this entire strip with polka dots. Oh, no, too fast. Okay, try again. You want to cover the whole strip, get it lined up right with polka dots. That's better. Stuff's really sticky, keep it in mind. But again, we're going to kind of trim it down a little bit. And we're going to do a fun little banner cut at the edge of this guy right here too. So if there's extra, don't worry about it. You can trim it away. Just use your little shears or whatever. Trim the extra sticker away. Okay, and this side I'm not going to too much worry about trimming because I'm going to come in with a little V cut. So I'm going to cut right in the center of the strip with a straight cut, and then I'm going to come with my little V on each side. That way your banner gets pretty much the same size on both sides. If it comes off, come on now. There we go. Okay, so I've got a cute little banner, and then what I'm going to do is adhere it to this black strip and echo the same exact banner again. So super easy. A little bit of your tape runner or white liner or whatever. Adhere it on here, and this is a little extra long, so don't worry about that. Trim a little bit if you have to. And then you just want to come and do a little matching V cut here. This kind of just becomes a little accent strip for the bottom of your box. I didn't get mine quite centered, so I'm going to trim it a little bit. There we go. All right, so you can kind of put this with your pattern paper one. We won't need that for just a second here. Now let's get to the fun part, the stamping. So you're going to want to go ahead and grab your Sending My Love stamp set again. And this time we're going to get the little individual letter and the little stack of letters. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. There I am again with my cute, right? So you need these two. Get my flower back in there. And then you also want the sentiment, which is the Sending My Love sentiment. And that's the cute little scripty one that looks like that. So these are the 3 stamps you need to finish this project. Like I said, this paper is plenty big enough. You'll have plenty of room to stamp all of them. And you want to just stamp all of them in black licorice. So super easy peasy. Just make sure you leave room for all 3 stamps. Oh, actually, that's silly. The Sending My Love isn't even on here. The Sending My Love goes on the circle. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait, I think this goes somewhere else. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You've got a little circle die cut in your kit, so go ahead and grab that and ink up your Sending My Love. And this can go pretty much in the center. You might want to go a little bit lower than center, but more or less goes in the center of that circle. We are going to kind of clip this with a little clothespin at the top. So if you have it a little bit lower than center, that's awesome. And now this panel is plenty big enough for your 2 little letters. Again, in black licorice. Do one there. Switch it out. And do your little stack of letters. So cute. So see, that panel is plenty big enough for both of those. So cute, love it. Now this doesn't have a whole lot of coloring on it, but we're going to do just a little bit of accent coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Color Burst pencils and just put a little bit of an accent of color on here. First one I'm going to grab is the lighter blue. This is pencil number 27. I'm going to do a little bit around the edge of this Sending My Love. You could also do this with ink. You know, if you wanted to grab your ink pad and maybe do Lovely Blue or Pool Play. But it's just about adding just a little bit of blue around the edge. And I'm penciling really lightly. Just again, almost just like a little shadow kind of a look. Kind of adds to a little bit of the hand-drawn feel of it. And on the letters, you can add, you know, any kind of accents that you want on them. I'm going to add one of the reds. Doesn't really matter which red, but I think I use number 2. And then again, a little bit of blue just kind of around the edges of the letter. I think the red and blue is kind of those postal colors, right? Kind of just reminds me of a little bit of post office-y. And the shading on this, you could go really crazy and color these really detailed and really beautifully. But, you know, really for the purpose of what we're doing, it doesn't have to be fancy. But if you want it to, of course you can. A little bit more blue around my stamp. And that's really all the coloring I did. It doesn't have to be, you know, too involved. I think on this one I might color my string just a little bit. Again, pretty lightly. A little bit of my bow. Maybe I'll do this stamp a little more red too. And just add a little bit of blue. This time maybe I'll do like the edges of the letters a little bit. Looks like there's lots of letters going in there. A little bit around the edge. Again, just kind of light, just kind of fun. Maybe we have a little bit of a red letter sticking out here. So if you're a fancy color, absolutely just spend as much time as you want coloring. But on the other hand, doesn't have to be fancy. So we're going to go ahead and fussy cut both of these out. That is just a real quick one. They're easy peasy. I think there is the die that matches both of these. If you do have the kit, you can of course die cut it. But these aren't so hard to die cut our 2 little airmail things. Is that what they are? Airmail? I think so. All right. I feel like my envelopes are pretty dry now. I'm just going to kind of close them right now. If you could, though, wouldn't it be the cutest thing ever to put like a sweet little note and tuck it inside? I love that so much. Okay, now we've got a lot of our pieces all ready. Now we can go ahead and grab our fun little pack of embellishments. And that's this little guy with the ribbon and all the little gems. And we've got some more hearts. All kinds of goodies in here. Kind of empty them all out. Don't lose any pieces now. Let's see what we've got here. The ribbon we'll set aside for just a second. Now these two bigger hearts, you've got 3 little hearts in here. The 2 bigger hearts, we went ahead and put on the envelopes. So I'm going to grab 2 of my little foam squares, my small ones, and I'm going to put them on the flap of my 2 envelopes. So right there. They're not actually gluing the envelope shut, but they're just the cute little decoration on my envelope. Put one over here. So cute. So like I said, I'll show you how those 2 envelopes fit in our box in just a minute. Now we've got all these fun little pieces. And a lot of them are popped up. So again, keep your foam squares handy. You know us here at FSJ, we do a lot of popping up. Start with a little banner. This is like the base of your all your little pieces you're adding. So you kind of want to put this about 1/2 inch up from your bottom of your little panel here. So that guy goes there, and he's going to kind of anchor all of our other little pieces that go on, including this guy. Now this is going to kind of sit on top of this banner right here. So I'm going to put a foam square just at the top. Does that make sense? So then it doesn't, you know, run into my banner. I could also add a little bit of regular tape runner here. So the foam square holds it up and the tape runner will adhere it to that piece right there. I'm going to put our stack of letters next. Kind of goes on top of the banner. And our one little letter really will look like airmail because it's going to kind of be floating along here. Like right there. So cute. Look how fun and layered that is. Now in order to embellish your little tag, like remember I said we're going to add a little clip to the tag. You can go ahead and clip your little paper clip there. And we're going to tie a bow. This is not any kind of fancy bow. This is just a regular bow. I'm not even going to tie it around the clip or anything. I'm just going to tie a single little bunny ear bow here. And you have plenty of ribbon. You'll have lots extra. Practically could get 2 bows out of this piece. I want it to be fairly small because I don't want it to overwhelm the front of my box here. So pretty small. Like I said, you'll have plenty extra. And then in order to keep this on my clothespin, I'm just going to glue it. I'm just going to put a little dot of craft glue. It's going to go right there. Maybe let it set up for just a minute. While that sets up, let's go ahead and finish assembling our box. Just move that to the side. So our box is all dry on the sides now. The last thing that we have to do is assemble the bottom. So go ahead and tuck your 2 little side flaps in, and then you've got your bottom piece. Oops, not going to stand up very good, Kim. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of craft glue here. Again, the craft glue really works the best. You could try tape runner or something, but I can pretty much guarantee it's not going to stay that great. There's plenty of room to kind of put your fingertips inside the box to give yourself a little extra pressure for holding this guy down. And again, you only need to hold it long enough to set it, maybe 10 or 15 seconds. And then we can set it aside and let it finish drying, finish air drying. Okay, so that's enough to hold it. Then we'll just kind of set it aside and let it finish drying. It's like, stay, don't pop open. Okay, don't lose your little gems either. You've got 3 little gems, 3 or 2, 3. Here's the other one. Almost lost it. Okay, so one more little element to add on this. I thought it would be cute to add one more little journey glazed heart. So go ahead and add a little bit of glue on top of your bow. It's all these little finishing elements that just make it so cute and sweet. It's not completely dry yet, but it will dry. And while it does, we can do the journey glaze. Make sure my journey glaze is going here. I hate when they get clogged up. I had it ready to go a minute ago. Okay, hold on just a second. All right.
Want to go to your face?
Sure. All right, got that pesky journey glaze ready to go. Now we just want to add just a little bit to our heart right here. It's pretty much exactly like we did on the earlier project. It's dimensional, like I said, and then it'll just take a little bit to dry. So you want to set that aside so it doesn't, again, bump into anything. I just love the journey glaze. Makes it so pretty. Okay, so we can let that dry for a second. Our box should be pretty dry, pretty much ready to go. Finishing it is really not hard. The flaps, because we've already scored it, they just kind of gently fold in the two top pieces. And then they kind of join together like this. So you're just joining the two pieces together. And then it's got the cute little ear pieces, I kind of call them, that will hook into either side. So that pretty much finishes the actual gable box. Now if you didn't have this cut, this is pretty much how it would look like, which is such a cute little treat box. Isn't it fun? I can think of so many possibilities for this one. It's also the perfect size to just slip a little gift card inside. Of course, any kind of little treat, anything you want to give to someone, it's just the perfect size. And it's not real wide either. I kind of like the slim lines of it here. So super cute. But for our project, we do want the kind of little slot showing because I kind of had the idea that it looked like a little mailbox. Do you guys think it does? I think it kind of does. It's kind of fun. So our panel, which is finished, it's still drying a little bit. But I'm going to carefully put the panel without wrecking my journey glazed heart. Just going to glue that right on the front here. And you could use craft glue or you can use white liner or, you know, whatever. So that's the front of our cute little mailbox. And I'm going to carefully put our 3 little gems on before I do lose them. They're just going to add a little bit of sparkle. Come back, little gem. Oh, it keeps sticking to my finger. Okay, there's one. A little sparkle there. Do not stick to my finger. And then we can put maybe one more down here. Or you can put it up higher or wherever. So the little gems are cute. They add a cute little sparkly element. Now these little envelopes, I do want to show you, they're so fun. Again, if you tucked your little note inside, you could put a little glue dot, or you could put another foam square, or you could just, you know, glue them with a little bit of glue and then your recipient could open them. But look how fun. They absolutely are perfect to fit in this little slot. So there goes one love note. Here goes the second love note right inside your little mailbox. Isn't that just fun? It's so, so cute. I'll take the little envelopes out so I can have Roy kind of do a little still shot here. So come back, little envelopes. So super easy to get in and out. Nobody has to rip the box or anything. I think I'm going to put just a little bit of a foam square so they stay shut. I think a glue dot would actually be one of the best ideas because then it'd be pretty easy to get back open. The foam square works too. Okay, so that is our adorable little bonus project, our little mailbox and our 2 baby envelopes. Absolutely love it, and I'll go ahead and have Roy kind of pause it there for just a minute and you can catch up, finish your projects, and I'll be right back to close up. Alrighty, so did you finish all of your projects? Is it one of those crafting events where you finished everything, or are you taking a few things home not finished? Either way, it's totally fine. Let me go ahead and show you all 4 of our finished projects that we created today. Here's the little mailbox we just finished with. There's the other card with the darling little typewriter. Here's Feeling All the Feels, so cute. Actually, I'll switch these, they can fit better. And then our cute little Best Person Ever. Wow, that was really, really amazing, you guys. I know you did a fabulous job out there in creative land. I know that I have had so much fun bringing paper to life. I hope you enjoyed this make and take. It is an exclusive video for you because you did buy one of the project kits. Nobody else gets to see it. But you know what? You can share it with a couple of friends if you want to. But again, super fun to bring this to you. I hope you had fun creating, and we will certainly be back to do it again soon. Hello there. I hope you are having so much fun at our Follow Your Heart launch party. I just wanted to buzz in here real quick because I just finished filming the make and takes that come with your project kit. So if you did go ahead and order one of the project kits, or maybe you're thinking about ordering one, I'll give you a little sneak peek of what the make and take is all about. First of all, we start with this cute little project kit, which hopefully you did get delivered to your front door. Or again, like I said, you may choose to order. Now this kit is so much fun. It has all the make and take material, including fun things like the instruction booklet and the actual mini catalog, which I have right here. And like I said, I just finished filming the Make and Take, so let me share the finished projects with you super quick. And I'll just share a few little techniques that we did. We had a lot of fun with Journey Glaze. We learned about our Journey Glaze product, which is this little guy. And we created this card and Journey glazed all the fun little hearts. So it's almost like all these cute little floating hearts are coming out of our baby envelope. That's one of the projects we created. So much fun. And then this layered card, I gave a lot of fun tips on creating these and why we place certain things in certain spots. Just kind of giving you some design tips. That was a super fun card. Best person ever we had a blast with because we learned this fun inking technique for the background of the card. And this is not pattern paper, but it's our own stamped background. So it gave you some tips and tricks on that little guy. And probably my favorite project is this little bonus project. And it's our Gable favor box, but we've turned it into a cute little mailbox. Isn't that so much fun? And we even gave you 2 little baby envelopes that I'll show you how to assemble and make and give some fun little tips on sliding them right in there and some other ideas about what you can put inside. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun and we used a lot of the inky stuff. I think Roy can show us a little shot of our messy table here. We had so much fun with all of our inks and our stickers and our stamps and our fun items that we have here at Fun Stampers Journey. So I hope you will check out our project kits, and everyone who purchases one of those project kits gets this exclusive make and take video delivered straight to your inbox, and then you can play it again and again as many times as you want. And I think it will be so much fun. I would love to help you bring paper to life. So check it out.